Hello, how are you doing? I think I'm recording. Yes, okay. So, excuse me. So, welcome to this week and the final week, and also welcome to the new year. So, as we're recording this, we are right at the beginning of January 2021. So, today's video is on how to kick things off when your energy is feeling off, or maybe you're not feeling as motivated as you would like to for whatever reason. So, it might be, so obviously as you're listening to this, you're aware of what's happening right now in real time, especially if you're in the UK. So just in case you're listening to this later, that we're in lockdown 3, lots of changes, lots of things coming up, right, to navigate. So whether or not this is to do with global events, what's going on in your life around that right now, or it could be nothing to do with that and more just how you're feeling because of other reasons. It could be to do with stuff that's in your life, or it just could be like maybe you don't even know why, you're just not feeling motivated. So the reason doesn't really matter, but what I want to do is just kind of address what to do. Because if you've got goals, you've got intentions, you've got visions, we're going to get into that this week, but actually if you're just not feeling it, and a lot of people right now, and I've spoken to quite a few people this week already, yeah, it's only Tuesday today, right? It feels like a long week already. A lot of people are feeling like they don't feel that like new year vibe, or they don't feel, maybe they've got a lot of clarity at the moment. When we're going through changes, it's really hard to kind of maybe stay focused. So obviously if you are someone who knows exactly what your goal is right now, you're very focused, you're motivated, you're feeling good, this video is not for you. You don't need to worry about listening to it. Feel free to, but obviously this is more for you if you're just feeling that kind of sluggish, or just you're just feeling a bit off. So I definitely don't have that new year vibe feeling right now. It's in the air, it's an energy thing, and again, this could be at any point in the year that you're feeling this. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge that in real time, as we're talking, let's just acknowledge where we've been, because whatever's going on for you, there's a reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And if it was as simple as decide what you want to do, set a goal, and just move forwards, everybody would be successful. Everybody would have the relationship, the body, the business, the whatever, and everybody would just be doing it. So it's not as simple as just set your goals and motivate yourself and all is well, right? There's a lot more to it. So I think just an encouragement really is just to reflect on where you've been and where you are right now. And again, talking in real time, we've just come through 2020. It's been a hell of a year. It's been an absolute shake up for a multitude of reasons. And even if you've come through it feeling pretty strong, you still have been through massive change. So I think it's just okay to acknowledge that. So if you're watching this week, just give yourself a break first of all, and just acknowledge, feel it, just be aware that's where you are. We've reached 2021 now, and it's not easy. And again, you might be listening to this later on in the year or a couple of years from then. It's wherever you are right now, wherever you've come, you're feeling what you're feeling. Like, it could have been the last year for you, it could have been the last few months, could have been the last few weeks, it could be the last few days. So you're feeling what you're feeling for a reason. So just feel it, allow it, and just understand and give yourself permission just to kind of go, right, my energy's off, I don't really feel motivated right now. That's just kind of what is happening. So that's number one. Number two is where you really want to bring in the self-care. So this is my perspective, and you might get other people, other coaches, other people giving you very different perspective. That's totally fine. But from where I've experienced this, I've done so much of pushing myself to the point of burnout. I know all about discipline, motivation, push, go, go, go. And what I do know is that when you're feeling in this vibe, when your energy is quite off and you don't feel great, the push through isn't the thing. If it was just about push through, you would have done it already. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. So this is where I recommend is the self-care. Really ramp up the self-care. This isn't, even if you've got a sense of urgency right now to be moving, this actually, when you're in this energy, remember this is about energy transformation. It isn't the signal for you to kind of plow ahead and push through. You want to address something. And sometimes what we need is just a whole load of self-care. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm totally at ease with the fact that I've still got things I want to do. I know what I want to do for this year, for example, but I feel slower right now. The energies are such as it feels a bit slower right now. So I'm not forging ahead. I'm doing the things I need to do, but I'm doing lots of self-care. So think about what you can do right now. Really, really bring in the self-care. Be gentle with yourself. Whatever feels good, that nourishes you, you actually want to take your mind off the outside stuff, even the goals, the things that you're trying to do that you can't quite manage, or you don't feel quite aligned or feel good about, and bring it back to yourself, and really back to basics. Back to basics is what I always come back to, and it never fails. So just bring yourself back. What can you do? Like, I've been having loads of baths recently. I love my showers, but the last few days I feel that urge to like really slow it down, relax. I've been having lots of baths, listening to meditations, listening to music, chilling out, really looking after myself, being aware of my sleep. Like, I don't want to stay up late. It's so tempting, especially when you feel a bit rubbish. I've been trying to get to bed properly, not staying up silly hours, doing some exercise, moving my body gently, drinking lots of water, those basic things, right? But really think about your self-care, because this is about your energy management. And I did another video before, didn't I, about different ways to kind of help your energy. So you might want to go back and revisit some of that. And then the other thing it really helps is just to try and build momentum. And what I mean by that is not go from you feel really off and you don't feel as motivated as you feel like you would like to be, to forcing yourself to kind of forge ahead. I mean, creating momentum. And this is how it is. You want to be able to shift out of this, of course, naturally, once you've kind of given yourself time. But really all you want to do is just do one step. So all we're looking to do is, if you feel the way you feel, is what's your next step that you can feel to just help yourself feel a little bit better in this moment. So it could be watching something, it could be doing some EFT tapping, it could be, like I said, having a bath, it could be reading a book or doing something creative. What's one thing? And you're not looking for that one thing to create an amazing state. It's like you're really excited and magical and lit up. If that happens, great. I'm talking about, it might even move you into feeling rubbish, into just feeling neutral. So our emotions are on a scale, so you might just go from feeling really rubbish and maybe down or whatever, to feeling like not particularly lit up, but you're just kind of okay. That's a step up. For some people, if you're feeling sad, more like you're feeling sorry for yourself, not in a bad way, but just you're feeling sorry for yourself, you feel really helpless and kind of things are out of control. A step up is actually to feel angry and infused with passion about something and really wound up. It's not a great feeling either, but actually it's actually a step up on the emotional scale. So all emotions are okay, but just look to see what can you do. Don't think about 10 steps ahead. And this is when we feel off, it's really hard to kind of plan, right? Like tomorrow, next week, what about tonight? So as whatever time you're listening to this, just think about what can you do after this or tonight or later or whatever, that will what's your next step? What will feel good in this moment? What do you need to do right now? Like for me, after this, I think it's the evening. So I'm just going to switch off everything. I'm going to do a bit of gentle stretches and exercise, very gentle kind of exercise stuff. And then I think I'm just going to watch something, like an episode of something, just really relax. I just don't feel like tuning into world events tonight. I'm just going to relax and chill out. So what's your next thing? And then from there, you can, so say if this is earlier in the day, you might do that one thing. Like you might take a hot bath, that feels good. Then you might come out and you might, as you're getting dressed, maybe listen to some music. That feels a bit better. And then you think, oh, maybe I'm going to guzzle a load of water because that would hydrate me. You go do that. That feels a bit better. And then that leads you to go, well, maybe I'll just think about that thing I want to create, or I'll do a little bit of reading, or when I do something with the kids, I might do this, put some music on, that'll feel better. Whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, but one thing leads to another. So you kind of just build that gentle momentum. Like a weird thing is that it doesn't always have to be like lovely and indulgent. Like sometimes I use washing up to get me started. Like I know that if I just wash up a few dishes, that gets me to, then I'll wipe down the surfaces of the kitchen, and then that will go right. Then I'll go into the living room and I'll just start to kind of like, it's usually tidy, but I start to put things away, and then that kind of ripples out. and then I'll go up to the office, and then I'll do a little tidy up, and then I'll go, oh, I might just sit down and look at this thing, and I have a nice momentum. So just think about a very gentle momentum. We're going to get to kind of visions and goals and things this week, but just right now, it's just understanding that's where you're at. And the reason this is important is it brings us back to the 5 ingredients, right, that I spoke about in week 2, I think it was week 2, where this is where once you understand the ingredients of the cake, you know where you need to go. So this is the bit where we are baking the cake, right? So what we want to do is be able to bake the cake, get the mixture, put it into the oven, actually switch the oven on for the cake to bake, actually be made, and that's what is the action bit. But we don't just go in and do that. Sometimes, you know, you've got to revisit. So then you want to go back and go, right, if I feel off, am I doing things in a soul aligned way? So number 1 is alignment, right? That's your bowl, your foundation. Am I doing it in an aligned way? Does that need to be looked at? Is it maybe the wiring? Step 2, right? Second ingredient, which is all the kind of recipe. How are you choosing your recipe? Are you choosing the right page? Your thoughts, your habits, your patterns, your beliefs. Is that something that needs your attention? It might be, you know, the acknowledgement bit, the emotions bit. Maybe that needs your attention. You need to mix those ingredients and get those lumps out, because once you've done those 3 things, this kick-starting the new, which is the action, the actually doing, feels a lot easier. Makes sense? So it's important because this is really common. So what you're experiencing right now is really common, and most people, they go straight into feeling like this, and then they go, I'm going to set this goal, I'm going to force myself to do it, I'm going to like maybe do it for 3 days and then run out of steam. That's the story of most people's things. You think about a great example is dieting. January the 1st, we go on a diet, we have good intentions. By mid-February, most people have just given up because they just kind of run out of steam, and they haven't connected it in a deeper way. They hadn't worked on their mindset. They didn't have a way of dealing with the emotional stuff that came up. So of course they weren't going to be able to take the action. So all of this is connected. So go back and revisit the kind of model that I set out as well, which kind of makes sense, but just don't worry. So my point is not to worry if you don't feel particularly energized or motivated right now. This will pass. This isn't where you're going to stay. Of course, if this is something for you that you're always in this state, and this isn't a temporary thing, this is like where you live all the time, I'd be approaching it with you in a very sort of different way, slightly different way, because we want to get under the hood of that. So it's helpful to know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, but it's not necessary. So you can sit down and reflect, you know, and journal out and say, what is happening for me? Why am I feeling this way? My energy is off because I don't feel motivated right now because, and just write it out. Just helpful to have some awareness, just reflect, understand what's happening for you. But at the same time, you don't have to. You don't have to understand, because the other side of that is you might spend 3 months diving into that and forever trying to build the awareness on it. You don't need to do that. It's helpful, but my recommendation is really just to go within, give yourself permission to acknowledge what you're feeling, ramp up the self-care, really, really take care of yourself right now, and then course correct gently by just moving your direction 1 step at a time. So it's not forcing yourself. And again, looking at your mindset if you need to, looking at your soul connection, your alignment if you need to, looking at your emotions, your feelings, and processing those if you need to, right? So that's it. So just give yourself a break, and don't worry. The trick is not to panic, because when we're in this state, the worst thing we can do is try and push ourselves through it. And I know if you've got an achiever pattern, it's really easy to think that you've got to do something right now. It might just be what you're required to do right now. The soul aligned thing to do is actually hold back. And maybe you're getting the message that it isn't the time to speed ahead. I don't know till I speak to you, obviously, but just check that out for yourself. It might be that your expectation, your mind is telling you you should be feeling a certain way. And really what your soul, your body, your gut, your heart is saying is right now it's time to scale it back. So let me take this as an example. Lockdown number 3. Some people have really expected that. For some people, that's come as a shock. For some people, it hasn't impacted them. For other people, it's completely rocked their world because they've suddenly got their 5 kids at home with no notice. So it's all going to affect everybody very differently. So just check in, see what's going on for yourself. Give yourself 5 minutes to process this, at least, you know. Be patient and really give yourself loads of self-care. And this is where the inner coaching really is one of the most powerful things you can do. Your inner critic is going to have a field day with you, because it's going to tell you all the reasons why you're shit and why you're off and why you're lazy and you're unmotivated. In reality, that's bullshit. So just catch it. And what I'd say is really turn up the voice of your inner coach. So tell yourself something reassuring, kind, supportive, encouraging every single day. Do it 5 times a day if you need to. Set a reminder on your phone if you need to, but really ramp that up. Okay, so lots of self-care, lots of positive self-talk, and we'll ride this out, because this never stays. All right, so we're going to get into a few other bits this week, so I hope this helps. I hope this just addresses it. And again, if you're all motivated and set and ready, this video is obviously not for you, so that's fine. Just keep doing your thing as well. All right, so I will talk to you again in the group very soon. Bye for now.